Day 14, and we have some sunshine. Still a little bit breezy, but certainly not as windy as it was yesterday. We've moved on from Calgary Beach and we're heading now to Tobermory, which is the town on the Isle of Mull. We've just stopped here at this little place outside Ferry, lookout point, looking back down onto the village for a stretch your legs and to check out the cairn. This is a very pretty little town of Tobermory. It's the only town on the island, so not surprisingly, it's rammed. Actually finding somewhere to park on the promenade proved impossible for us, and we've parked up on the top, up on that hill there overlooking the town. It's not helped by the fact there's a film set taking up a great section of the promenade. There we go, the joys of living in a picturesque Scottish town on the west coast. We are of course going to have an explore, check out the place, and then sort out some ferry tickets to get us across back onto the mainland at Kilchoan. There's always a sound of running water. There's a stream off to my right which is disgorging into the sea. I think that's our ferry. So we're going to take the ferry from Tobermory across to Kilchoan, which is back on the mainland at the end of another long cul-de-sac. And from there, the current plan is to head in the general direction of Mainland. Unlike many of the ferries that we've been catching, the Tobermory to Kilchoan runs to a timetable, and the one we're waiting for is the 1 o'clock sailing. It's about 10 to 1 now, so I'm expecting the ferry to be letting us on pretty soon. It would appear that our ferry is omnidirectional. And I suppose I should get in the van and start it up. Seems there are no cars to come off. The crew are having a game of Tetris, trying to decide whether or not they can get this car and caravan on the boat.
Be sure the location of master station and the
We did check out at the ferry port the options for getting a ferry from Mainland over to the Hebrides, or in fact anywhere to the Hebrides, as it's all the same company. But we were advised that because we're in summer holidays, we'd need to book well in advance. And the lady also advised us that getting camping spots on the main island of the Outer Hebrides would be a challenge this time of year. So it looks like we're not going to get to the Hebrides on this trip. Never mind. We are at the point of Ardnamurchan. I'm sure that is pronounced completely wrong. There is a lighthouse over in front of me. This is the most westerly point of mainland UK. So on our last trip we did the most northerly point, we have now done the most westerly point. 2 off the list. We've just stopped here, probably have a cup of tea and then go and wander up and have a look at the lighthouse and maybe even do a tour. And without stating the bleeding obvious, there is a lighthouse. I've just booked the 2:30 tour for Karen and I, so we need to walk up there. I think around about 145 steps I counted down. I didn't count on the way up. And a very impressive visit to the top, where there's a very knowledgeable chap telling us about the conditions of when the lighthouse was first active, way back in the 1800s and through the 1900s until it was automated. I think 1988, he said. Gotta love a foghorn. So I did ask on my video about the foghorn at Dundas Head, and apparently the foghorns, none of them are active anymore. No surprise given modern communications and satellite navigation. Home for tonight is the Ardnamurchan, normal warnings about pronunciation, campsite just outside Kilchoan. It's a quaint, if somewhat basic campsite, but it'll be home for the night. We have electricity and showers for the morning. There's a cool little camping pod. Not quite a caravan, but the campsite is nestled right up against the shore. I'm not sure if there's a name for this lock. I'm sure there is somewhere. We're going to have a go at walking back to Kilchoan to go and get a pint in a local pub. This rocky beach is not an easy walk, and we're not 100% sure we're going to get through. Apparently the beach here, albeit very rocky, is also known for fossils. Of course, to Karen and my untrained eye, we're really not sure what we're looking at, but that looks somewhat fossily to my completely untrained eye. So this little chap here, this seems very much like the pictures I'm seeing online. I'll put down below what I think it might be. Given the distance we've walked, we're also rather hopeful that we can get through to the village and the pub. Otherwise it's a blooming long walk back with no beer. We'll keep pushing on. We are more rock than beach now. But Karen is leading the way. It may be hard to believe, but these pumps, all three of them, do work. We came in here earlier to get some diesel. That would be from the left-hand pump, only to find that they were limiting the supply to 10 litres per vehicle. But we had a really good chat with David, an old Irish boy who was manning the pumps, and he gave us 20 litres. Bloody expensive though, at $1.75 a litre, but we are in the middle of nowhere. Having reached the petrol station, and that's a strong term for 3 falling apart petrol pumps, we realised that the pub is just under another mile away. And we're not going to walk that far. Not this time of night, because we've got to walk back, and we are going to be walking back on the road and not the beach for the sake of our legs, as in not breaking them. So we now head back towards the campsite. I've got beer in the fridge anyway, and we'll have some dinner and enjoy the pleasant evening here in Kilchoan. The sign was telling the truth. We have stupid chickens in the road.